Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show, and I'm here to talk about some WWE. We're going to talk about WWE Money in the Bank 2023 that just concluded, and I thought a pretty good pay-per-view. Obviously, the Money in the Bank matches were really good. Yeah, I know the men's was going to be good because you had a bunch of good wrestlers in there with Ricochet doing those high spots, Butch, Logan Paul, Damian Priest, Santos, and LA Knight for the men's Money in the Bank, and I don't think they'd be off the right decision. I know Damian Priest is good and all, I really do. I think Damian Priest is good, but you have to capitalize on the hot momentum of LA Knight here if you're WWE. I guess WWE just doesn't care about the fans. Look, I know Damian Priest is good, and people say it's good. I get that point. I'm not going to argue that. I get the point. Damian Priest maybe should have won. I get that. But I would much prefer the LA Knight, because you have to capitalize on the momentum of LA Knight. If you're WWE, one of your most over stars, you have to capitalize on that momentum. And instead, WWE chooses to go with Damian Priest. I guarantee who made that decision, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Because he didn't want one of Triple H's boys that he's got over. That Triple H's boys, LA Knight. Yeah. And the crowd was booing when Damian Priest pulled down that Money in the Bank briefcase. Damian Priest has already kind of broke out as a main event guy. You have LA Knight, who's worked his ass off as well, and getting over with the crowd, and Daddy doesn't pull the momentum, just doesn't capitalize on the momentum. That's kind of, I feel like they made the same mistake with Cody Rhodes. I know the Bloodline story is really great, but does it really need a title? I mean, maybe now you could say that, yes. But I'm just so upset LA Knight didn't get the win here. That's probably the second fumble of the Triple H era. Because, I mean, how do you not capitalize and give LA Knight the win when he's been one of the most over superstars in the company, getting the biggest pops from the crowd? I don't get it. And I'm tired of WWE getting these fucking wrestlers over, and then make them lose, and then they'll lose their momentum. Or maybe he'll go after the U.S. title over Austin Theory. But Damian Priest, I mean, I guess it's a good decision if you like Damian Priest. I mean, I do. It's just I would have much preferred you go with the momentum with LA Knight. But I had a feeling that this match was going first. I was like, oh, LA Knight ain't gonna win this match. But this match was a good match, though. There were a bunch of cool spots. That spot where Ricochet and Logan Paul went through the tables, that was cool. Butch twisting LA Knight's finger. But Priest won Money in the Bank. I don't know what he's going to do with it going forward, but maybe he'll cash in at some point. But I know, it's just, I feel like he's proved to be that main event guy now. He's broke out as that main event guy. And he just had a world title match and lost. Why does he need to have the briefcase and then cash in and win? Make it make sense. But whatever. Next, the women's tag titles. After that LA Knight losing there, I really didn't care about this match. I was just so heated that LA Knight lost. But Liv and Raquel Rodriguez Gonzalez are the new women's tag titles. Wow, they're flip-flopping like candy. You had tag titles on them. They had to relinquish them. You give them to Ronda and Shayna for a few weeks. You have them undisputed. And then you give them back to Liv and Raquel. This tag division's a mess. But the good thing was Shayna Baszler turned on Ronda Rousey. I really didn't think it would be Shayna turning Ronda. I thought Ronda would betray Shayna, but Shayna betrayed Ronda and got one of her biggest crowd pops probably ever. So maybe Shayna's now going to turn into a badass baby face, which I would love to see personally. But Liv and Raquel are the new tag champs. It's just, to be honest, I don't care about the women's tag titles. I mean, good for Liv and Raquel, but It's literally a makeshift tag team. But maybe we'll see what happens with Ron and Shayna going forward. Next, Riddle versus Gunther. Probably the most predictable match on the card. Because obviously, Gunther was going to retain because they want him to pass the honky-tonk man. But Riddle knew he was going to win. But it was a good match for what it was. Obviously, Gunther retained the IC champion. Gunther's so good in the ring. It was about 10 or so minutes. But, yeah. But then after the match, Drew McIntyre has finally returned. Some of the wrestling news I reported, they weren't sure if he was going to return or not, but I was hoping he would. But finally, glad to see Drew McIntyre back in good shape and takes out Gunther. So it looks like we're going to get Gunther versus Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship, maybe at SummerSlam. Maybe Drew McIntyre can take the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe. We'll see. And then Gunther can move on up the card for the heavyweight titles or whatever. But I'm glad to see Drew McIntyre back. Some people probably didn't think he was going to come back. There was a possibility, but I knew he was going to come back. I knew he wasn't just going to leave WWE. Next, we have Dominic versus Cody. I don't know who thought this was going to main event. I think Michael Cole misspoke, but just because he misspoke, people were like, oh, it's going to be the main event. What? No, it wasn't going to be the main event. But Cody gets the win, a clean win for Cody with the Crossroads 1, 2, 3. Pretty decent match for what it was. No Brock Lesnar, so maybe we'll get that soon to set up a third match. I'm not sure though. Next, we get a surprise return from John Cena. Yes, John Cena makes a surprise return to SummerSlam here. I'm like, what? John Cena's here? That was a big fucking surprise. Nobody knew John Cena was going to be at Money in the Bank. And if you did, you're lying. So he basically thanking the fans, and he basically, what I'm going to say is he wants WrestleMania to be in London. Because I feel like those UK crowds are better than the US crowds. I would love to see WrestleMania go to London, because that would be phenomenal crowd. Because those UK crowds are undefeated. But then Grayson Waller basically interrupts. So are we setting up for a SummerSlam match between John Cena and Grayson Waller? That seems pretty interesting. Maybe Grayson Waller will be ready to come back by then from his injury, I assume. So I'd like to see that. He takes John Cena, but then John Cena gets the AA. And then that was the end of that segment. Next we get the women's Money in the Bank. And Io Sky is your women's Money in the Bank holder. So they got one of the two Money in the Bank matches correct. And Io Sky, it was a really creative finish. Bayley pushed her off the ladder, about cost her own teammate the Money in the Bank. But Becky got up there, and Io Sky handcuffed them both to the middle of the ladder. She climbed up Bayley's back and then got on top of the ladder, brung down the briefcase, and Io Sky is your women's Money in the Bank holder. So your Money in the Bank winners are Damian Priest, which I think was the wrong choice. You should win with the most over superstar in WWE and LA Knight, but they got the second one right with Io Sky. Next, Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the heavyweight title. Seth Rollins gets the win over Finn Balor in a really entertaining match. Obviously, Seth Rollins was going to retain. Well, actually, it wasn't obvious. Some people were thinking Finn Balor might win and Damian Priest could cash in, which I thought could be a possibility, but I'm like, I don't think it's going to happen. But Seth Rollins gets the win, retains the belt, and the Usos defeat Roman and Solo. First time Roman's been pinned in 3 years. That's crazy. He hadn't been pinned in 3 years. But yeah, I'll get an 8 out of 10 pay-per-view. I really enjoyed the Money in the Bank ladder matches. You know, I didn't. The winner, I would have preferred LA Knight in the first one, but that was still a fucking great match. The women's match was good too. I really enjoyed the main event near the end. First bit of the match was kind of slow, but the second half kind of picked up. What else? I really enjoyed the John Cena segment because I like John Cena. Seth Rollins and Finn Balor match. This whole card was good, in my opinion. Except, well, I mean, the women's match I didn't care for because I was too hated about the LA Knight losing, but overall, pretty good card, I thought. We'll see how Davey will follow up on Monday with the first episode after Money in the Bank begins. I'll see you next time. Peace.